I'm going to accelerate, and I won't tell you when, so we'll get your real reaction on film.
Good.
But how do you feel about the look, the layout, the quality of the finish?
I love the look, the stitches, sorry, oh my god, I'm gonna die. It's like a roller coaster.
It's a rocket ship.
Something was moving inside me. Maybe it was my breakfast.
For me, it was my heart, because I love how this thing accelerates. It's heart-pounding. It's instant torque.
In the car.
And
It's the first time I see it. John has it for 6 days. And because we're busy at work this week, it's the first time I go in the F150 Lightning. I really love the screen. I was like, oh my god, that's a big screen. It's like an iPad. It's so big. It's bigger than that.
it's a good looking screen, and there's a lot of information. But really, all the information's there because there are next to no other buttons. You've got, the parking sensor button, the traction control button that I would never turn off because this thing has 776 pound-feet of torque. Way too much to be turning off that technology to help keep you in your desired drive line. And you have the where the heat comes out button, so front dash, feet, or right to your face to crack your face in the winter. Do keep in mind we're going to be driving through some bumpy roads, and it's actually going to show how amazing the suspension on this. It's incredible. I love the comfort. This is the most comfortable vehicle I've ever been in, and I can only imagine that this is what Rolls-Royce feels like. I'm even wondering if this is more comfortable than the Lincoln Continental test drives I've done in the past, because I do remember being very, very impressed by the comfort of the Lincoln Continental, but this is just incredible. The suspension table in the back is about 5-6 inches thick. You've got big, beefy suspension. So Marie, this is your first time, so I'm going to accelerate, and I won't tell you when, so we'll get your real reaction on film.
Good.
But how do you feel about the look, the layout, the quality of the finish?
I love the look, the stitches, sorry, oh my god, I'm gonna die. It's like a roller coaster.
It's a rocket ship.
Something was moving inside me. Maybe it was my breakfast.
For me, it was my heart, because I love how this thing accelerates. It's heart-pounding. It's instant torque, and you're not, it's to have this kind of speed. Normally, I would be in a modified dragster, or PSI turned way up on a turbo engine to the point where it's no longer reliable, or just stomping on the Mustang GT. And this is great because it accelerates, and you're not going to be grabbing attention, and because of all the noise you're making, you're not going to be drawing attention to your vehicle. So that's a huge plus or downside, depending on whether you want to be grabbing people's attention. Personally, I'm liking how this is, just fast, and it's quiet, classy speed. It's very different. Now, I love my Mustang GT, but I think people are going to get used to these vehicles, because in a gas vehicle, you never accelerate regularly the way I've been accelerating with this. So I get right up to speed or a little bit faster immediately, and I let go of the accelerator pedal last minute, so I'm going really fast right up into whatever it is, red light, stop sign. Like here, in the last 50-60 feet, I let go of the accelerator and it recharges. So what's happening is you've got your electric motor that starts turning in one direction, it's for propulsion, and in the other direction, it's for generating energy. So this thing generates its own energy, and it's got fantastic braking. You've got motor braking, and you almost never need to use the actual piston caliper brakes. But when you do, you've got double braking, you've got incredible braking. So we'll see how you react to that, Marie. So I'll let you get back to talking about the interior quality, the seats,
Yeah,
the dash.
I almost forgot. Yeah, I love the stitches on the dashboard. The color, it's like a bronze color. I really love it. It looks young. It looks classy. Yeah. At the same time, I love it. I cannot remove my eyes from the big screen there. So yeah, it's definitely a big win.
Now, what's interesting is I'm actually going a little slower than highway speeds, but on a bumpy, somewhat, well, it is a back road, but it is a paved back. This thing normally is a backbreaker of a road if you're driving a sports car. This has sports car, or really high-end sports car speed, but just with hard to describe comfort. Now, I do like the interior. I think they've done a really good job of mixing in, like, they're stitching on the dash. Part of the dash kind of looks like it would be almost like a denim material. I don't know, a canvas material with stitching. Then you've got, you know, what does show to look like very good hard plastic. You've got a little bit of chrome on the second glove compartment box. So you've got 2 glove compartment boxes in here. You've got all sorts of
idea.
Yeah, you've got charging for your phone, wireless charging. You've got the wired charging. So wired charging always is faster. And you've just got an incredible cabin. Of course, we know with Ford, they're giving you a huge cabin. This Super Crew cabin, tons of space. And we're not just saying that from people that have got 2 small dogs. If I still had my big German Shepherd, he'd be very comfortable back there. And
We
anyone
can fit
with
3
kids,
of them in the back.
we could fit 3 of them. And you can also fit 3 baby seats really well in the back. If you got 3 baby seats, this is the vehicle for you. Any Ford F-150 Super Crew truck. I love the shifter knob. Happy they didn't go to a little roller. I like having my hand on the shifter knob. And the sound system on this is incredible. I love it. I think it's top of the line. Now I'm gonna play it. We're gonna take a little pause. I'm gonna play it for Marie and she'll let you know what she thinks in just a moment. You know you're in an F-150 when you've got all this space. All F-150s, not just the Lightning, because they share the same cabin. When you see a 4-door F-150, with, you know, 4 real handles, you know you're in for a treat. You've got tons of space. Look at all this leg room. And I'm not cheating the front seat. The front seat is in my normal driving position. I've got all this leftover room now. If you do have the 511 Lariat Lightning, of course, you get heated seats in the rear. You've got all sorts. If you want to just show this, Marie, you've got the heated seats. You've got your plugs. You can be charging your phone, USB, USB-C. You've got a 20 amp, 120 volt outlet right there. So you can plug your laptop in. You've got all sorts of space. This could be an actual workspace when traveling. Put your accountant in the back. So Marie can be out here in the back doing her accountant work because it's tax season and she'd be comfortable if we were going for a long drive. Now, when no one's in the back, it's also a very usable space. You can see right here, this is where I usually keep my off-road recovery boards. I have the seats, both seats up, and I throw my recovery boards right there. The snow broom. I've got some straps here if I get stuck. So there's a lot of space. Now, of course, this doesn't have to be a drawer. You can actually fold it flat and have the entire space. So if you buy a TV, a 55-inch TV will easily fit in the back of an F-150. This space is incredible. It's very, very comfortable. And the finish, you know, I will say that I wish the Lightning would have had a few more special features to really make you feel special for having bought a Lightning. The way the Bronco did such a great job of rewarding us for getting a Bronco. There's Easter eggs all over. Well, the Lightning could use a few more Easter eggs, but I do love what they've done with the interior. The doors here, they're really well finished. They give you this look of stitching for the doors, the plastic. Everything is high quality in here, and I'm just loving the interior of this extremely comfortable vehicle. What's cool about the gasoline-powered F-150 is you can throw a huge panoramic roof on most models. So XLT 302 up. So you can have an XLT with the roof. Now for the Lightning, you need to go up to the Lariat 511 to get this fantastic roof. It's only the first section that opens. That's a big section. And, you know, Marie and I drove yesterday, found it very quiet driving with the roof open. And even though it's winter, we weren't getting cold, and the noise was actually really minimal. For an opening roof, they did a fantastic job with this. Ford has this little wind screen that pops up when you open the roof. Very quiet. And I've got to say, sitting back here, it's great having the sun come right in, shine right on my face. It's tinted, so it's not bothering me. It's not making me squint. But it definitely feels like a much bigger space. It's already a huge space, and it feels even bigger when you've got the sky right above. So how do you find the sound system?
Really good. We hear clearly all the sounds. It's like in the Raptor, because it's the same company that does the speakers.
Bang & Olufsen.
Yeah, so we hear it very well. Sometimes the music, I don't hear all this stuff. I didn't hear it before, so yeah, it's good. But for now, I think we need to find the right balance, because to me the sound is really going from the front more, I guess. But it's a thing that you can balance and have it the way you like it.
And now we're testing out the cornering, because we've got some pretty sharp corners here.
I'm lucky there's a car in front of us, because Johnny will put the pedal too hard, I guess, if not.
Yeah, well, the handling is great. It stays very stable in the corners. I'm very, very, very impressed by the handling. And it also, if you got the right tires, you can go on some really snowy bad roads, which is pretty cool. Just going off this little bit of off-road spot right here. Of course, we've got the BF Goodrich KO2s, which are just fantastic tires. But this thing handles great. And Marie, you had an expression for how this drives. You want to mention what name you use for that? You're saying it drives like it's on a cloud.
Yeah, it drives like you're flying, so we don't feel the road. It's so smooth. Yeah, I really love it.
So I'm not going to go too far into this off-road trail, because I see snowmobiles have been on it. I don't, this one I choose to turn around. I don't want to mess anyone else's fun up. So we'll leave the snowmobiles for their trail, but right now we're just great in a tight spot, and the 360 camera is fantastic. Of course, we have the sensors. They're working really well. So my first impressions on the tech, it's great. And I should say my second impressions, because I did have some problems. Marie calls that a code 18. So code, going into some deep snow there, and the Lightning is handling it really well. So a code 18 is when the air is in between the steering wheel and the seat.
18 in front of the steering wheel. So yes. You are the problem.
So I put a plug on the Lightning, and that plug had some snow in it and around it. And of course that got my charge port, my receiver, wet. So then it would not charge. It coded it throughout. It told me to get the vehicle serviced soon. And from there, let's just put the pedal to the metal. So from there, the next day, we were able to charge, but it was still saying service soon. Take it to the dealer. Dealer gave me amazing service. Brought it in the morning. Within 2 hours, they had plugged it in. The vehicle and the laptop communicated together, and they were told there must have been water. So they came back and they asked me, like, is there any chance you would have, could there have been any water that have gotten into your charge port? And I was like, yeah, I tried to plug it in when in a snowstorm, and the plug was covered in snow, and I just was distracted. I was making a video, a short, so shame on me. But that's done, and now I could say my second impressions of the technology is fantastic. Blue Cruise seems to know, however, when I'm not paying attention, because I do my absolute best to keep my eyes on the road, and it seems like as soon as I've mentally wandered off, the Blue Cruise shuts off. So I'm going to continue playing with that, but we both love the sound system. The comfort of these seats is very, very hard to beat. I can't imagine being more comfortable.
The Bronco was comfortable, but this
Yes.
one is a little bit more comfortable, I guess.
I'd say the Bronco was a little bit better at holding us in place so we don't move left to right. This nonetheless does a great job of it, but the actual seating comfort, weight, sitting down, the seats are, I'm very happy. I'd like to watch a movie in here off the screen and, have a nice date night in here. However, I don't know if I'd be willing for us to be snacking in here. It's just too nice to snack. But if you do snack in your vehicle, there is a lot of storage. So you've got your front storage in front of the shifter. You can even open this up to actually put a laptop on it. So it opens right up. Your shifter folds down, the top flips open, and you've got a nice full surface area here to either do service work, write on, or pick out the laptop, do work, or watch a movie. There's a lot of space in the doors, front and back. It's impressive. Even the doors have a little bit of stitching on it with what looks like canvas. You've got a dark fake wood look. Can't imagine an electric vehicle they'd be using real wood in a little knock test. That's plastic, but definitely everything looks very sharp. I love this roof. You can see how much light it lets in.
It feels like we were rolling top down with the Bronco. We're not stuck in a car. Yeah, I love the lights that it provides.
Now, if I actually put my seat back, it'll definitely help me feel like I'm not stuck, because I'm kind of pretty close to that dash, making sure we've got that code 18 in play. Speed sign recognition is great. Do keep in mind when you're driving this with Blue Cruise or the adaptive cruise control, if you have speed sign recognition on in the settings, it will slow down to the speed of that, to the speed limit, to the sign. So you need to turn that off if you want to have your cruise control above the speed limit. So really important point to not be very frustrated with the vehicle, because I was frustrated. I'm like, what's going on? Why does the cruise control keep turning off? Not even the Blue Cruise, just the adaptive cruise. Now the Blue Cruise, I'm going to get to the bottom of that, but it seems to be very intelligent, because I have noticed it does shut off when my mind starts to wander. So after 3-4 minutes of using it, it seems to know I'm not paying attention anymore, and it is shutting off. But I'm going to do more tests. Marie's going to need to test that, so we'll do that in our full vehicle review. But let's answer the question. These are our first impressions. I'd say first impressions, now that we know that the charging is resolved, I'd say 10 out of 10. Though we're going to answer the question, but is it worth the money? But first I want to hear from you, Marie. What do you think? What are your first impressions? What would you rate it on?
9.5 on 10.
Always room for improvement, I guess.
Yes, because maybe with the design we could do a little bit more, but
Okay.
I still love that it looks like F150s, but like you said, if the grille is the same for Platinum and XLT, Lariat, there we could have adjustment to make it pop more, I guess.
Have its own, more of a unique style maybe would help for you?
Yeah, a unique style, but at the same time, not the unique electrical futuristic style that other brands have, that I don't love. I love that a car looks like a car, but yeah, there's a
when
room
you saw
for improvement.
I showed you the GMC. We were looking at the GMC EV the other day, and whether we're looking, Chev, GM, both instances, Marie was like, no, that's, too futuristic and doesn't look truck enough. Marie loves trucks and loves the truck
Because I'm a woman, I guess I always look at the outside, the body, the aesthetic of the car. John look at the stat for the motors and stuff like
Specs,
that,
yeah.
and specs for
Love
the battery.
776 pound-feet of torque, if I recall correctly, 556 horsepower. So I was blown away. 0 to 60 time of just under 4 seconds, tested by Car and Driver, so they're my source for reliable 0 to 60. I always use them, and I always have for the last 30 years. I've been reading Car and Driver for about just about 30 years now. And if you notice, just back there, we went over some bumpy train tracks, and inside it is like flying. Sorry, you didn't say it's like we're on a cloud. You said this vehicle feels like you're flying.
Yeah, like in an airplane. It's smooth. You don't feel bumps. It's normal. It's an airplane. So yeah, feels like that.
Now the reason it's 10 out of 10 for me is I really like the current F150 styling, and I'm happy that they just made it look a little different, with the grille and the LED lights. I love, the front lights functionality, the fact that they follow the road. So that's 10 out of 10. The styling for me is 10 out of 10. The interior is 10 out of 10 for a truck. And that's where, maybe I would end up with a 9.5 when we take price into consideration. This is 110,000 Canadian, or I believe, we'll get the numbers, we'll put a little slide down. This is an extended range Lariat. So I believe it's 97,000 US dollars, but we'll get the exact numbers on that for you. Could the interior offer a little bit more? Well, with this kind of money, when you cross over 100,000, and of course times have changed, everything's become more expensive. So 10 years ago, I would have expected a full leather dash, and this doesn't have a full leather dash. It gives the appearance of having canvas that's been folded over and stitched. Very smart Ford, really cool design.
And it's fun to touch. The feel is great.
But the thing is nowadays crossing over 100,000 isn't what it was 10, 15, 20 years ago. If you think about it, this is 110,000 Canadian. If it didn't have the extended range, just a Lariat, this would be 97 Canadian. And if this was an XLT, just an XLT, we're looking at 82,000 Canadian, whereas this in XLT form without extended range, it's 82, whereas XLT gas powered, so an EcoBoost XLT 302 Sport is now 74, playing around $74,000. So the price difference isn't huge, and actually when you add the transport and destination fees on an XLT Lightning, it's 84, so $10,000 difference. And you're gonna make, most people do enough mileage to make that $10,000 difference back. So I guess I can't expect more, for the price, I guess I shouldn't expect more of an interior. This is fantastic. It's near perfect, but of course there are ways to upgrade it. But the type of interiors that we see that would be better than this are actually nowadays playing more in a whole different bracket. We'd be adding about another 60 to 80,000 US, or about 100,000 Canadian.
And you know what? With the interior, I will compare again to the Bronco, sorry. But we had the design Bronco on the dash in the interior. It would have been great to have Lightning written here on the box cloud.
That would be cool, yeah. And then on the Bronco, it's imprinted in.
Yeah,
and it would be really cool.
More special garniture, like in the Bronco, yeah.
Especially that this is a Lariat extended range. So when you add the extended range, you get the 511 package instead of the 510, and it would be nice to see some special touches added to it, like you mentioned.
Like in the Bronco, we had the little Bronco sign on the head.
On the headrest, yeah.
Headrest, thank you. Just a little Lightning written on it will be great too. So Yeah, and he does it for the Bronco. They know how to do it.
So there's, I guess, the challenge for Ford for when they remodel this, which interestingly enough is going to be happening in as a 2025 model year, or in 2025. So we'll see. Is it going to be a 25? Is it going to be a 26? Stay tuned for that. Worth the money? Now that depends. If you buy this to tow heavy, 5 to 10,000 pounds, you're not going to feel it's worth the money because you're not going to get very much range. If you buy this as just a people hauler, that's a different story. And if you actually buy this to tow, 2,000-3,000 pounds, or maybe have, 1,000 to 2,000 pounds in the bed, well, actually that doesn't affect autonomy very much. And we're going to be testing that, of course, with our jet skis, but it has already been proven in the box, 1,000 pounds, and it doesn't have much of an impact. This is truly worth the price if you like performance, if you like comfort,
and saving on gas.
and saving on gas. People that do a lot of mileage, really, really worth it. Even if you don't do much mileage, I don't do much mileage, I feel it's worth it because the performance is mind-blowing. The comfort, it's a 10 out of 10. The acceleration is a 10 out of 10. This is a truck that's incredibly quick and hard to believe levels of comfort.
And it's surprising for the size of the truck.
Yeah.
That it could go fast like that at the stop sign.
6,300 pounds, and this thing's accelerating like, a Porsche 911. Heck, it's not even if I'm not mistaken, a base 911 isn't this quick. You've got to actually kick it up to GTS or an S with the whole performance exhaust. This thing is, let's try it one more time.
The tires are screaming.
Yeah. Tires are screaming, and so are you. And you will be too.
I was like, okay, don't scream, don't scream.
And actually, the braking is really impressive. So we promised we'd try the braking. So let's do this. We're going 45. Let's actually go a little faster. Let's go 50 miles per hour, and we let go. And this is just electric motor braking. And we've now come to a stop.
And it's a stop that is not too quick. It's just perfect.
It's not abrupt.
Yeah.
However, when you add also the braking from the calipers and the piston, well, our impressions on that is Marie said, I'm going to my pants at the lights. Coming over the bridge, we're at the lights, we weren't filming, and I let go a little of the accelerator a little too late and added some brake pedal, and Marie gave you...
because you were thinking that you were able to stop before hitting the car in front of you, and I was like, no. So yeah, don't depend only on that. You need to maybe have your feet next to the pedal of brake, just in case.
So now 50 miles per hour, and we'll let go, and we'll actually let go of the accelerator and use the brakes. Here we go.
Oh man.
That'll be one of those times where the brakes actually get used. How did you find that?
Oh, I need to go to the, how you call that, the masso?
Get a massage. Get
a massage for my neck. I was like, yeah.
Braking, 10 out of 10. Yeah.
The tire screams again.
Yeah, well, that's one thing. This has so much torque and such incredible braking power. It's a lot of fun. The braking, great security feature. You don't want to use them too much because you'll go through tires quickly.
Seat belts work well.
Seat belts work well. So the braking's great. Overall, you're still staying at a 9.5?
Yeah, just because the look, we can do just a little bit more.
Fair.
But for the rest, the performance, because it's only electric, it's impressive. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll still leave my mark 10 out of 10 on my first impressions. because those are my first impressions, but now you could say I am thinking it would be cool. I agree with you. Lightning written on the glove compartment box, something in the stitching on the headrest, at least when you hit either the Lariat trim or Lariat with extended range, because you are getting into some pretty high prices, and little finishing touches on that make a big difference. You know, for us with the Bronco, it made a huge difference on our impression, and they don't cost that much. So let's hope Ford does that for the next one. Until next time, I'm wishing you all more cars and more power.
And I wish you all more cars and you less power, please.
Fair.